Alright, shalom, shalom, shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakradash. Secondly, I want to give double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who taught me this truth in righteousness and in sincerity. And third of all, I want to give salutations to the hopeful elect that's out on the highways and the byways teaching and preaching his word in truth and in sincerity. Now, this is going to be a testimony of something that I experienced yesterday. And, through the spirit, it kind of just, it hit different because as we're getting closer to the return of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai being the only begotten Son, the Heavenly Father sending his Son to establish righteousness upon the earth. As we get closer to that time, the signs, the wonders, and the miracles of the Lord are becoming more and more clear, and they're amplifying, just like the wickedness of the world is. Now, this testimony that I'm about to speak on, basically, I was at work yesterday, and I got like this stainless steel water container, the ones that keep your water cold for a long time, or it keep it hot for a long time. I believe this one keeps the water hot up to 17 hours, and it keeps it cold up to about 24 or 30 something hours. But it's one of those bottles with the lid. You seal it, the lid is attached to the bottle. But pretty much I just got it recently, and yesterday I was using it at work. I made some tea in the morning, went to work with it. I was pouring it into a teacup all day. It kept my tea hot all day. And when I was ready to leave work, pretty much I had it at the top of my book bag because I had to pack my book bag with all of my gear, and I packed that in last, so it was at the top of my book bag. So pretty much I'm leaving, and I put my work coat because it's getting cold, and we recently just got new work coats, and they a little thick, so it was a little warmer. It was warmer that day, but as I was leaving, it was starting to get cold because the sun was going down. So I take my coat and stuff off before I clocked out, like an hour and a half before I clocked out to leave, so it was warmer. Once I start walking, to go home, pretty much I felt the breeze. I'm feeling the cold air, and I'm seeing the sun going down. So I'm like, oh nah, I gotta put this coat back on. But I put it at the bottom of my book bag, so I had to take everything out and grab it from the bottom of my book bag. So I take my new stainless steel water container. That was the first thing I grabbed because it was at the top of the book bag. I put it on the sidewalk next to me. I had some water bottles on top as well. Took all of those out, put them on the sidewalk, and then I grabbed my jacket. I put it on, grabbed my gloves, put those on, and then I put my water bottles back in to my book bag. Now, I had completely forgot that I didn't realize that I didn't put my new water container back into my book bag as well. So pretty much I left my water container on the sidewalk, and this is downtown, and I see people walking this sidewalk all the time. And it was a whole, because I left around like 5 5 p.m. So from 5 all the way up until let me not jump the gun. So long story short, I left it on the sidewalk. And it wasn't on the side of the sidewalk. It was literally pretty much in the middle of the sidewalk, just standing straight up. And I didn't realize that I didn't have it until I got home. And I didn't realize where I left it either. So after I I was just thinking that night, like, where could I have left it? I don't even remember taking it out, because I did make some other stops before I went home, and I didn't remember taking it out of my bag and sitting in nowhere. So I was just like, it is what it is, I left it somewhere, it's gone. So this morning, I go to work. As I'm walking to my job, I begin to walk on that same sidewalk. Now, man, it's crazy because I had a spiritual experience before this, but I was on my phone. I was writing something on my phone, walking on the sidewalk, and then it was like the spirit just had me, as I'm walking, look down from my phone kind of towards my feet as I'm walking, and I was literally standing right in front of my water jug in the same exact place where I left it. It literally hadn't been touched. It wasn't knocked over. It wasn't closer to the grass, because I had remembered once I seen it that I had took it out and sat it right there. But I didn't remember until I saw it again. But from 5 the previous day when I left, 5 p.m., all the way up until around 10 a.m. the next day, it was sitting there, untouched, unbothered, unharmed. And I was able to retrieve it. Now, it's spiritual because when you look at that water jug represents the elect. Because the circumstances that water jug was in, it could look like it was in danger because I wasn't there. Anybody could just grab it, kick it over. Anything could happen. It was like if you was to tell somebody in the world that you left it on the sidewalk and you go try to see if it's there in the morning, they not gonna believe that it's gonna be there. Because when it comes to the worldly mentality, people don't actually believe in the spiritual side of things, that there is a higher power controlling all of these things. They look at things like things just happen randomly, but that's not the case. Everything is orchestrated by Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. So this is the book of Psalms, chapter 121, verse 5, and it reads, "The Lord Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai is thy keeper. The Lord Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai is thy shade upon thy right hand." And this is speaking of those who love Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, which are the elect, those who are rehearsing the righteous acts to the best of their abilities, those who are calling upon the true names. The Lord is their keeper. And as I was saying, that water bottle, that represents the elect because it was protected. It was kept. When you go into the word keeper on the blue letter, it means to keep, guard, observe, give heed. Right, the Lord was observing my water bottle. He was with my water bottle. He was guarding it. It says, to protect, to watch, keep watch and ward, watchman, watch, to watch for, because I wasn't there to physically watch for my water bottle, my stainless steel, brand new water bottle. I wasn't there to physically watch for it, but the Lord was. It says to protect, preserve, to keep. So the Lord kept my stainless steel water bottle from being, kicked into the grass or snatched up by somebody else, kicked into the street, threw into the trash. Anything could have happened. And that's the same thing that's going to happen regarding the elect. The 144,000, right along with the 1/3 of the nation of Israel, which is a small number out of the rest of the nation of Israel that will be saved. They will be kept, It says to be one's guard. That my water bottle was guarded. Anything could have happened. I wasn't there to protect it. I wasn't there to lay claim on it. Anybody could have did anything to, my stainless steel water bottle. And it's a nice looking water bottle. And it was sitting pretty much in the middle of the sidewalk. So when it comes to the elect, that stainless steel water bottle represents the elect. No matter how alone you may feel, no matter how dangerous your environment may feel, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai through the Spirit, if you are of the elect, will be with you. And he will guard you and protect you just as he guarded and protected my stainless steel water bottle. Overnight, it was, the whole rest, the ending of the day yesterday, and then, the morning, all the way up until the morning, around like 10. So from 5 p.m. to 10 a.m., the Lord was preserving and guarding and watching over my stainless steel water bottle. And that's happening 24/7 for the elect. They are being protected. They don't need a physical protection right there with them. Just like my stainless steel water bottle didn't need a physical protector right there with it, because it had the spiritual protection of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And that's the same thing the elect will have. I'm going to jump to verse 7. It says, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The elect will be preserved, just as my stainless steel water bottle was. No matter how cold and alone that moment is, how dangerous it is, if you are of the elect, you will be preserved from all the evils. When you go into that word preserve, to keep guard, observe is going into the same thing. To keep guard, keep watch and ward, protect, save life. So this is going into the same thing as, a keeper. The Lord being our keeper and our preserver, our watcher, watching our path, watching for our enemies and protecting us from the same. That is what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is doing and will continue to do for the elect up until they are saved. So through the Spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, this testimony, I'm looking at it as the elect, because that is the position that the elect will be in. It will be moments where they alone and they feel like they have no Well, when it comes to the carnal aspect, they have no physical protection. You might not have no weapons. You might not have no brothers around you. You might not have no resources. You just, when it comes to the carnal aspect, you just destitute and alone. But the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, if it be with you, you are guarded, you are protected, and you are provided for. Provided safety, substance through the spirit, and actually being provided food, because the elect will eat. When the famine comes, the elect will be satisfied. But it says in verse 8, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Right, so that protection, just as my stainless steel water bottle was protected, and it's not even about that water bottle or me, it's about the elect. That stainless steel water bottle is the elect, just like my stainless steel water bottle was protected that whole time that I wasn't there to protect it physically, or to, take hold onto it and bring it with me. That whole time I wasn't there, the Lord was there. So it's going to be moments where brothers is physically alone, physically destitute. But the Lord will be with you if you are of the elect. It says, and even forevermore. So that protection will never go away. It will never end. It will never reach a limit, And that's the truth of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Firstly, regarding the elect, and in the kingdom, the whole nation of Israel. But that stainless steel water bottle that I left on that sidewalk, it was protected the entire time it was alone. It was preserved from being taken or touched the entire time. Somebody could have easily walked and kicked it up by accident, grabbed it, and took it with them. But it was preserved. So, if you brothers and sisters, truly and sincerely believe in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, I hope and pray that you were able to get a spiritual boost from this lesson, and that you can see the elect as that water bottle. Because if you are of the elect, you will be that stainless steel water bottle at some point and at some time. And you will be kept and you will be protected. Because it's all a test. So I hope you brothers and sisters was edified, and that through Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, I was able to edify you brothers and sisters clearly, And until next